Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Strip by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. I am your host. My name is Steph Sia. I am a digital content creator. I'm also a stripper. Yay, strip clubs are open again. And also, I was a former sugar baby many moons ago. I have been doing this podcast for almost 2 years now, where I interview different sex workers of all different capacities and avenues and angles to better explain and normalize what it is that we do and to destigmatize the industry. So that's just a little bit about me. My apologies in advance. I got my second shot yesterday, so if I'm feeling or if I sound a little bit off, that's probably why. I'm kind of battling through a little headache today, but I would definitely want to press on and get our wonderful guest onto the show today and not reschedule, because also there's a person that no-showed yesterday, which I'm going to call out and say, that's not cool. If I invite you to be in my show, or if you're pitching, especially this person was pitching to be in my show, if you're pitching to be on my show, please show up on time, or at least let me know if you're not feeling it. If you've got cold feet, that's totally cool, but please don't waste my time. Anyways, spiel is over. Our guest here is waiting very patiently and quietly. The guest, yes, and we have her little giggle here in the background. I have connected with Findom goddess Vanessa Jolie, who is going to be talking to us about Findom, because I don't know why it's taken me this long to get Findom on the show, but you know what? Better late than never. 3 seasons in, and we're excited. I am excited to really talk about Findom in a broad stroke, because I feel this is a really hot and popular topic. So treat this episode as a really brief overview, because again, with any kind of kink, there's just so many topics to go down upon. So Vanessa and I are going to really try to get to the nitty gritty of it all in one fun hour. So Vanessa, are you there?
I am there. I am here, and I'm so happy to be on the show. I'm just so excited that you invited me. I feel like famous now, like this is a good thing. Well, I'm really excited to be here.
Yes.
So I will say, I'm really excited to talk about Findom. I really want to answer everyone's questions. This is also a subject that's kind of new to me, because I've only been into Findom for literally 5 months.
Wow.
So I'm excited to see what people have to say, what people want to know. I know a lot of you out there don't understand really what the fetish is.
Yes.
So I'm glad to be here talking about all that.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm really glad that you were able to respond to my little Twitter request, because I had basically, because I was like, okay, guys, I really need to do an episode of Findom. Who are some people I can reach out to? And you responded right away. I had fans basically request for you to be on the show. So yay to your fans and finsubs to get you onto the show. So, and I really think it's cool that, you know what, you're going to be providing your personal journey, your own perspective 5 months into the Findom game. So that's going to be really different from, say, someone that has had years of experience, which honestly, this will probably be a multi-part episode down the line. So I'm just really curious to hear what your experience is like, and because your experience is going to be just so different from everyone else's, right? So
totally
cannot wait to get into it all. But before we get started, we need to kind of start from the beginning. So who are you, and what is it that you do in sex work?
Alright, so I am Vanessa Jolie. I am originally from Montreal, and I have been living in beautiful Vancouver for about 6 years now.
Yes.
So my sex work journey, getting into sex work, that started a long time ago.
Okay.
So I originally started as an escort, and then I moved into content creating,
yes,
where I moved my business online totally, and that was because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing online content, I started getting more into Findom.
Right.
So I can tell you guys the story of how I started into escorting. It's actually a crazy story.
Ooh. Yes, please.
Back in the days, I was always someone that was very adventurous, very spicy, I like doing things that others wouldn't necessarily like deal with me. So I was always very curious about escorting, and I remember I was like probably like 16, and I was like googling escorting and looking at their pictures and their website, and I just thought like, wow, that lifestyle is like so cool. I was so into it, and I was having, you know, a little bit of cold feet until this one particular thing happened to me. And this is even so crazy that I'm talking about it. But back in the day, I was about 18. I was like really naive. I would literally believe anything that someone said to me. And I was hanging out with this guy, and I liked him. I thought he liked me. We hung out for a few times. And then I was like, hey, like, you want to make some money? Like, I have this thing you can do. And basically, the whole thing was a scam, and I should have never trusted him.
Oh no!
And I got scammed by him for like $1,000.
Oh fuck!
But because it was my own fault, then I got in trouble with my bank, and I had to pay that money back.
Oh my god!
So, yes, how crazy!
No.
So another crazy thing is that 2 days later, I was actually leaving for one of my first trip ever on my own with my girlfriends. That trip was paid for, but now I was out of $1,000 that I owed to the bank. I literally had nothing in my account. He drained me with that scam.
Oh gosh.
And I wanted some money to, you know, like be on the resort, tip people.
Yeah.
The activities, and I was like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I knew this girl from high school, and I knew she was into escorting. I knew she was into that type of world. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, listen, like, I'm in this pickle, like, I need to make money, like, I'm going to Cuba like in 2 days, like,
oh my God.
Can you hook me up? What can I do, you know?
Yeah.
And so luckily for me, literally the next day, she's like, all right, I'm going to pick you up 10 a.m. We're going to go to this hotel. I'm going to take your pictures, put your ads in line, and there you go, girl. So I'm like, okay.
Oh
literally the next day, met up with her, and that was my first day ever as an escort.
What?
So like, that was how I got into it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I
Crazy.
remember that day, I will remember that day forever. I made like $400, and like, as an 18-year-old, like, I didn't know anything else that would make me that kind of amount in that short
of a time.
amount of time.
Yeah.
And then here I was set to go on my trip to Cuba the next day.
Oh my God.
And then that was it. Like, I was so happy. I had a good day escorting. I was like, this is my lifestyle now.
Yeah.
This is my thing. I really loved it. I really, really loved it. And then obviously when I got back from my trip with my girlfriend, I had to pay the bank back, which was about $1,000.
Right.
And I literally made that in 2 days, and I was like, all right, I'm sold. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm an escort. I love this.
You're hooked. Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. Wow. Well,
yeah.
Such a turn of events too. Like, I love how you like you turn things around from like what could have been, I mean, what was a really negative and like scarring event, you know, in terms of like getting scammed, and then like turning into like, well, this is my career now. This is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do. That's so cool.
Yeah. And whoever this guy is, like, bless his soul, because, like, I am who I am today kind of, like, because of him in a way. So I really see it as, like, a blessing in disguise.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And how long were you escorting for? And this is still in Montreal then?
Yeah, so I originally started in Montreal, and then I escorted all over Canada. I also worked in Japan. So when I started, I was 18.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing sex work on and off. Like, I've taken, like, some years break, go to school, do other things. But, yeah, I've been into sex work ever since I was 18.
Wow, that's so incredible. Okay, tell us about you escorting in Japan. What is that like? And how did you even like get hooked up with that gig? Like, that's so cool. International.
Yeah, actually, well, my goal to go to Japan was to visit one of my girlfriend who lives there. And I thought, well, I might as well just try to find clients and see if I can pay back for my trip and, you know, just have a fun time. So I didn't really go just for work. I wanted to just pay back my trip, experience working in another country, and it really went well. Like, I guess did my research, saw what website worked out there, and just did the same thing that I was doing in Canada.
Wow.
And I really loved the culture out there. Yes. I really had a great time and met a few people. No, it's definitely something I will always remember.
So cool. But was it really difficult with the language barrier at all, or like getting set up at all? Like, tell us a bit more. I'm just so curious. Like, I haven't had anyone talk about like sex work in Japan, so this is like super, super cool and interesting to
Yeah.
me.
So actually, most of my clients, well, all my clients that I met in Japan were speaking English. So we
Okay.
communicate in English because, like, I don't know any Japanese. So I think that if somebody would have only spoke Japanese, I don't know how I would have been at work. But luckily enough, no, everyone spoke English. You know what? I even met somebody that was from Vancouver down there. Like, what a small world.
Tiny world. The world is so small.
Yeah. So no, didn't have any language barrier. Thankfully, all my clients spoke English. You know, I also speak French. I did speak French with some clients out there too. Cool. So no, everything went really good, and just posted my ad out there in advance. Like, I think I posted like a month in advance and had some pre-bookings lined up, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at you. So organized, such a smart worker. This is like awesome. Maybe you're going to be inspiring some of the listeners here as well.
Yeah, I would love to.
And then of course with touring, like that's obviously a thing that escorts do, especially like nowadays, and also because Vancouver's expensive. But tell us a little bit about touring.
Yeah, so I used to love touring. So I haven't toured in very long, but I used to tour maybe like once a month, once every 2 months.
Okay.
And my thing was not, I don't like touring for like long periods of time.
Okay.
So what I would do is mostly like 1 week tour or like a 4-day tour type of thing. So I would love going to like Alberta, Calgary, Edmonton, great cities. I would always go to Calgary Stampede year after year. It was a great time for me, always really busy.
Yes.
I like touring in Canada, you know, because I love Canada. It's a great country. I feel comfortable here. So I've worked in Montreal, Toronto, Kamloops, Kelowna, Whistler. You know, I did a bunch of cities.
Yeah. Is it like really difficult to, like when you set your tour dates, is it really difficult to get those bookings, or is it pretty like the supply and demand is there?
Well, I will touch on wood. I've never lost money on a tour. I think the key is like to advertise in advance, have a presence online. Like, you know, I have my Twitter, my Instagram, all those things are like great tools to reach out to people. Really post your ads in advance, get the word out there, get deposits. And luckily for me, I've never had any issue with touring. It was always busy. And once I get out there, also, it always picks up.
Totally. That's so cool. Yeah. So cool. Like, do you ever miss escorting? Because now, like, you've switched over full-time to online content creation.
Yeah, that's a tough question because, like, the both are so different. But sometimes I do miss escorting. Like, I do miss the connection that I have with my clients. And, like, I do miss the activities that we done. Like, there's things I would have never experienced if it wasn't to escorting. Like, I just love when we go for dinner or like we'll go to the museum or go like snowmobiling and like all these cool things. I've even been on trips before. So like all those connections and like those special moments that like you create, like sometimes you really build connections with people for a long amount of time and they kind of like become your like friend in a way, you know so much about them, they know a bit about you too. So I do miss that part, connecting with people, getting dressed up. That's something that I love to do, and I think I'll always miss in a way. But online has been really good too, and I feel that for me in the pandemic and with what's going on in the world, the safe way for me to work was from home and just totally switch. That's literally the only reason why I'm not an escort anymore was because I just didn't feel comfortable being in close contact with people, being around people. And so literally from one day to the other, I moved everything online and I haven't looked back.
Wow, that's like a big move because like I know so many people that struggled during COVID's still going on, but like last year, especially when we were deep into it, like really struggling. They never had an online presence, trying to switch everything over. Like, what was that process like for you? Or was it something you were already kind of slowly building because you already had like an exit plan from that type of sex work?
I would say it was kind of a new thing for me. I already had my Twitter presence. I was already on Twitter, so I knew how that worked. But like, I literally didn't even know what like OnlyFans was, or like,
Oh my gosh, wow.
what custom was, or I didn't know like you could sell pictures and videos. I had no idea about like this whole online world. So it was like really a change, and it was really sudden. But I think because I already was a little bit on Twitter, that really helped me grow, because people already knew a little bit about me and my name, and my ads were out there. I just had to kind of relearn everything.
Yeah, it's like a huge learning curve too. Huge.
It was. I literally had to, get all my equipment, understand how OnlyFans works. There's a bunch of other platforms out there as well, kind of similar to OnlyFans, and I had to learn about that from the get-go. And, I'm still learning about it every day. Like, I'm not perfect, and I've only been at it for probably like, a year and a half, 2 years now, this online thing.
Yeah.
So there's still so much out there that I don't know.
That's incredible. I mean, like, in general, we're always constantly learning. There's always going to be some new app or like some new feature and stuff that we can learn from. So don't feel too bad. We're all students, right?
We are.
So I guess like right now you are primarily a content creator. So I think I peeped on your links. It's OnlyFans and Sex Panther.
Yes.
Tell us about.
So I have a free OnlyFans. I have a paid OnlyFans, and then a Sex Panther. And I also give like private experience. So like on kink and stuff. Like I'll do like one-on-one sessions as well online.
Right. Yeah. Like, and how, like, tell us about like the content that you post, or the content that you give to your fans, that you provide to your fans, because like everyone's a little bit different, like in terms of like their branding, their personality and stuff. If you want to share.
Yeah, so when I first started OnlyFans, like I didn't really feel comfortable like showing everything. I did show my face for the longest time too. That was something that really happened during COVID. I started showing my face since I moved my business online.
Okay.
So at first I wasn't showing much. Like it was about boobs. That was it.
And your boobs are amazing. Can I just say that?
And as I got into it more and more, then I started being more comfortable, like opening up and showing, all the parts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I really do some nude content, like solo, all that type of stuff. That's what I provide. And then now I do a little bit of findom content as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do everything on my own, just me and my body. And that's great.
Amazing. Like, did you find, did you see that there was like maybe a difference when you started revealing your face? Because I know obviously it's a safety issue too, and that's something you probably learned when you're escorting, is to conceal your face and like keep anonymous, right? And practice that anonymity. When you decided to show your face, like, was there an increase in bookings or an increase in more fans or anything at all, or was it kind of the same?
So I didn't show my face at all when I was escorting. So I can't like really compare to that for bookings, but then the online thing, it was like a 360 for me.
Really?
It's like, why didn't I do that sooner?
Yeah.
Like, my face is a moneymaker. It's not just the boobs anymore.
That's really cool.
So yeah, literally when I started showing my face, like I really saw my sales go up, more fans, more inquiries, more customs. And I think like with online content, you can tell a lot within the eyes, within the smile.
Yes.
And it really made a difference for me. And for me, it was such a relief, like showing my face. It was kind of a personal reason. I feel like I had all this weight on my shoulder and I wanted to take it off, put my face out there and just be out. And it really, really felt good.
Yeah.
And I love it. This is who I am. This is what I do. I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm beautiful. So why wouldn't you want to see my face?
Exactly. Well said. Well said. I wanted to kind of pivot the conversation to the main bulk of the episode, which I'm sure everyone is dying to hear about. But it's all about Findom, and I wanted to hear, like, how did you get introduced to Findom? Like, what was your introductory point? Because like it's a hot fetish. As we all know, like, yes, there's opportunities to make a lot of money, but it's still a kink, and there's still a lot of responsibility that comes with it, which we're going to get into it later. But tell us about like your story in terms of like how did you land in Findom?
Yeah, so for me, it all started from being on Twitter, and a lot of my advertising for my OnlyFans and my online site was on Twitter. And the more I spend time on Twitter, the more other sex workers I would start talking to, engaging with their posts.
Yes.
And then I started seeing more Findom posts out there. So other financial dominatrix would be posting on Twitter, getting their stuff paid for, all that luxurious fetish. And I thought, wow, like that is so cool. If they're doing it, why can't I do it too, you know?
Yeah.
And I started following all of these financial dominatrix, seeing what they were posting, what type of words they were using. And I didn't really know what Findom was. It's kind of like a hard concept to grasp sometimes.
Yes.
So I started doing a lot of research online, and I started reading as much articles as I could get my hands on, and just trying to understand more what the fetish was and how to go about it. And what really pushed me though to like start Findom, I decided to get some coaching.
Good,
some
yeah.
personalized coaching,
Awesome.
which I totally recommend. I reached out to this financial dominatrix who's located in New York.
Okay.
And she's kind of like curvy like me. I thought she was doing well, and I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna hop onto her DMs.
Yes.
Ask her if she wants to coach me. What's her fee? I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on. And that was awesome because, you know, all those articles that you can read is great, but I wanted something that I could ask questions about things that I didn't know.
Right.
I wanted to be kind of like in contact with her, and still to this day we still talk.
Oh, amazing. So cool.
Yeah, so she really helped me get started out there, and I've got other coaching ever since as well, which I think I would definitely buy more coaching in the future too. I just think it's a great way to learn and have more like of a personalized experience.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that we haven't touched a lot on the podcast too, is coaching. And that's like a really, really great tool and resource for you to learn from people that are actually doing whatever type of sex work it is that you're interested in or want to get into. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I appreciate that.
Of course.
So then you had this mentor that kind of showed you the ropes. And when did you start to embark on your own? Or was it like after coaching or during coaching that you started to kind of advertise your Findom services? Or how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so during coaching, basically what I did, what is really important is like having all your payment links like out there for people to see. And like I personally asked for a tribute before talking to someone, so that was really important to have that out there. And once my payment links were organized I use allmylinks.com.
Yes.
And I was ready to just kind of like start getting into it. So I literally made a tweet and I was like, all right guys, you know me as this content creator, but like now I want to dabble into Findom, and that's always something that interests me, and here are my payment links, send me money. So that was literally how I got started.
Amazing. And also I forgot to mention too, and I should have done this in the beginning, there are a lot of non-sex workers that listen to the show as well. So perhaps if you wanted to provide a definition of what Findom is, I feel like we should have done this in the beginning.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
We should have done that first.
That was my
fault.
Yes. Yeah.
So the best way I can explain it to someone is that financial domination, it's a type of fetish. So there are so many fetishes out there. This one has to do with money.
Yes.
And it's where somebody who's submissive likes giving his money to a dominant person, whether it would be cash or gifts. So basically, I get paid to be beautiful and exist. Isn't that great?
I love it. Who doesn't want to do this, right?
Exactly. So some of like the relationship I have with my subs, it can also include other fetishes such as like verbal abuse or humiliation.
Yes.
So it's a total power exchange. I mean, there's people out there that likes to be dominated in a financial way, and it's all about submitting and giving control away, basically.
Yeah, and like it's really interesting because like yes, there's a lot of buzz around Findom right now too, and like there's a lot of negative connotations about Findom too, in terms of like there's just greedy people like gold digging women that do it, but no, it really is a fetish. It's something that's real. It's like it's people get off of this, you know.
Yes, and there's people out there, people like so many things, have so many fetishes. This is actually a fetish that some people are looking for and are enjoying. And, at the end of the day, like, I get paid to be who I am and I get paid for my time, and it's nothing different than anything else.
Yes, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. Another thing that I wanted you to define for the or people that just aren't into kink at all, what is a tribute?
So a tribute, the best way I can put it, to me, is a form of respect. So there is so many people out there that, would chat you up for free or have no intention in paying you or all that stuff.
Yes.
So to me, a tribute, it shows me that you respect my time, you respect me, and you want to show me that you're serious about having a relationship. So I will literally not give anyone the time of the day unless they've sent a tribute.
Right. Yes, exactly. So basically, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, also to weed out like the time wasters and the fakes and the scammers, basically.
Yes, because there's a lot of them out there. It's a lot.
There is too many out there.
So
it's
many.
Like, no, your time is precious, and you gotta show me that you want to serve. You gotta show me that you're serious. So you gotta send the tribute first and foremost.
Yeah, it's basically like a subs type of like verification. It's a way to establish trust by paying like a small amount of money, and as you said, to demonstrate, okay, I am really serious about this. I want to serve you.
Yes.
Right. And like I know people have questions like how much does it cost? Like I know that probably varies from Findom to Findom. Did you want to go a little bit about that in terms of pricing?
Yeah, so like my tribute personally is $30 to approach me, but you can make it as little or as big as you want. There's really no rules out there. Just do what feels right for you. And so that's basically the first payment that they have to offer is $30. And then that's when I'll get to know a sub. So once they provide that tribute, that's when I'll actually get to know them a bit.
Yeah.
Get to know what they're into, what their kinks are. And, it's also very important to ask them, like, what they don't like and what's their hard nose and if they have any limits and any names that they like to be called and all that stuff. So that's what I do after the first tribute.
Yeah, yeah.
After that, it depends. Like, I've worked with people of like all budget. Some of my relationship, it consists like of a one type of payment.
Okay.
So maybe they'll reimburse me for something I bought, whether it's like a meal or a new pair of leggings or something. And then I have subs where they pay me daily or weekly transfer of money. Sometime I go over people's like finances. Then I know exactly, how much they make, how much they spend, and what on, and how much they can afford to give me. So it's really a hard question to say, like, how much does it cost to, like, talk to a financial dominatrix? I feel like as long as you have the first tribute, then you're good to get started. And, I'll take your $2, I'll take your $5. I mean, I'll take your $1,000.
Yeah.
To me, as long as I'm making money for existing, whether it's $2, $10, $1,000, it's a win, and it's money I didn't have yesterday.
Exactly. I love that outlook. Yeah. And I really like and appreciate you sharing your process too, because I feel a lot of the time people don't understand or know that there is a bit of prep work after that first tribute that you go over, like what their limitations would be, what their boundaries are, and stuff like that. Like I think that's really, really important to mention. So
Yeah, and a lot of what I do, since it has to do, some people are into just giving you money, reimbursing your stuff for no reason, really. Like, you don't even need to talk to them. They're just like, hey, here's $15, like your smoothie is on me. But then there's other people who like sessions. So it'll be like either a texting or like making videos for them. So I feel it's important to know what people like and people don't like. So, there's some people out there who like to be called losers, but don't assume that everyone likes to be called a loser or whatever it is. So I feel like it's so important to go over that prep and what they like and what they don't like.
Totally. Like, I know some findoms, they use like forms or contracts that really outline the boundaries, safety rules, conditions, punishment, like discipline, stuff like that. Is this something that you personally adopt as well, or is it more of just a conversation?
So for me, I like to have a conversation. Also, I'm still so new to it, only 5 months in.
Yeah.
I like to know the sub kind of like more on a conversation messaging, know what they're about, and then I'll have my little notes and have that written out about everyone. So I know every of you sub what they're into, what they're not into, and then just go from there.
Yeah, like it's like my mind is so blown right now. There's so many different types of payment methods and so many different types of subs and like how they want to pay you money. Like, does it ever get difficult keeping up with all of your pay pigs and your subs?
I don't see it as like difficult. Just a little bit time consuming,
Yes.
At the end of the day, this is work, like this is my job, and people have different needs, but I don't really see it as difficult. I see it as it's work, and I gotta keep up with people. And you know what? Some people like will send me money and literally like not talk to me.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
So I don't have to keep up with everyone, and like, if you want to talk to me and like take my time, then you gotta pay for that. And that first review, that's not gonna cover that. It'll just cover the basics. Yeah. Now, if you want my time, you want to chat with me, you want me to make videos for you, then you gotta pay more money. So I feel that I don't really have a hard time keeping up with people.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. What are your most common requests then, or like if you can kind of bulk them all into like I guess if you're categorizing them, what are the most common subs that you have? Like, what are they asking for, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay, so the most things that I get is pretty much reimbursement and opportunities. So I post online that I bought this, or I'm going for dinner, and that, you should pay for me because I'm too hot, and I don't need to pay for this. You can. That's your job, as my personal wallet. So most of those are great because I'll say like, oh, I'm going for dinner, like send me $50. And then somebody will send $50, and then that $50 that I'm spending, let's say out, someone else will reimburse that. So I'm basically making money to spend money.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This makes sense to me.
Because one person can reimburse me, and then someone else will reimburse, and someone else, and there's literally no limit.
Yeah.
So I do make most of my money that way. And then the other thing I get asked the most probably would have to do with like humiliation and like verbal abuse. I do have a lot of that. So basically, I'm just making videos, insulting them with whatever words they told me was okay to use for them.
Right.
And telling me, and then, asking them to keep spending on me. And it's really kind of like a mind fuck thing,
Yeah, it totally is.
You want to keep them addicted, and it's like this whole mind thing that keeps them coming back in the words that you use. And then basically I'll just keep sending videos until they don't have money anymore to spend that day.
Fun. So are you working with, I guess this will depend on your finsubs, but are you working with like a daily budget or weekly budget or whatever X budget it is? Or how does that work? Because I know sometimes they don't have a limit, but sometimes it's really good to have that boundary, right?
Yeah, so I like to ask people kind of like what's their budget. And I let's say some people like only have, let's say they have a $5 budget, then they can pay for my coffee that day, but there's no talking that goes into it. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
I do like knowing what people budgets are and like how much money they can afford to spend, let's say like that day, and then I'll just work within that budget. I also like to know like monthly what's their budget, so I know kind of like how to space it out during the month.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a lot of planning involved.
Yeah, there is.
There is a lot of planning. As you said, like, it can be like quite a lot of work, but like very fulfilling work, obviously.
Yes.
I wonder, like, because you mentioned earlier, like, okay, I'm going to keep sending these videos so they can keep paying.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks or not tricks, but like strategies in terms of like getting and reeling in long-term clients? Or because obviously, like, and this doesn't only go to Findom subs, but this also goes for like, say, OnlyFans subs too. Like, what are your strategies in that, if you want to share?
Yeah, so a good way to like keep people with you and keep spending money on you, I would say is like be consistent. And if somebody has sent me like thousands of dollars, like it's great to know how they're doing too outside of what we like the session. And get to know them a little bit too, and be interested in a little bit in what they do, and just getting to know each other a little bit. But I would say like just consistency and keep updating. Be active on Twitter, be active on OnlyFans. I post every day on OnlyFans.
Yes.
I also post every day on Twitter. And just when somebody is attached to you, it's because they like your personality, they like who you are, they like what you're about.
Yes.
So I have a lot of subs that have been with me for a very, very long time because they like who I am. So let your personality shine in what you do and what you post. I would say, like, I'm always myself.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's my main thing.
Yeah, because it's really all about relationship building. That's basically what it boils down to, right?
Yes.
Like, they're paying for you. They want to get to know you. They want to know what your personality is, right? So, like, that's a really, really great point. Another thing that you mentioned, too, that just, like, caused a light bulb in my head, too, was the notion of aftercare, as you mentioned. Like, to check in outside of the session or check in after, you say, drain their wallets. Can you tell us a little bit on how you practice or exercise aftercare in the Findom sphere?
Yeah, so aftercare is actually really important because, sometimes you do a lot of verbal abuse.
Yes.
You tell people things that, are a little bit crazy. So you want to make sure they're doing okay mentally afterwards, too, and that you don't just, like, broke them and then leave them out there.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they're doing okay. So, like, hey, how did you enjoy the session? And, like, what are you doing afterwards? And how do you feel? And, like, just, having that little bit of more, like, realistic, like, conversation with them afterwards, and making sure that they're okay and that you guys are on the same page, because that'll make them want to come back. You don't want to just like broke them and leave them out there and then they're like never want to speak to you again.
Yeah
because it was too much. So you want to make sure that they're doing okay and that they enjoyed the session and that everything was up to their expectations. And then ask them what they're doing later, and great, it was a pleasure doing business with you. See you next time.
Yeah, totally. Because, like, I mean, with the little research I did do a lot of research, but, like, with the research that I was doing, too, like, sometimes some new findoms or bad findoms would just abandon their finsubs after, which is really, really, really dangerous, for their emotional well-being. So, like, there's a lot of care that also goes into this fetish.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, this is supposed to be like something that's pleasurable. And it's supposed to be, people get off on that. So it's supposed to be something pleasurable, something that you enjoy. And I feel that by doing aftercare, it shows that, you care about them too in a way. And it's really important, and that you take it seriously as well. Yeah,
like, I think there's just, and like why Findom gets a bad rep is that there's just so much misconception about like, oh, these women don't care about their subs, and like part of it is like, it's a role that we're playing. It's a role during that time, right? So
and that's the thing. If you break somebody on the first time that you talk to them and, you know, they never want to speak to you again, then you won't have a good relationship with them. And the goal here is that they keep paying you for as long as they can. So I'd rather work on building a strong relationship, strong connection, and then maybe they'll pay me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So it's all about people coming back to you and spending on you and making sure they're taking care of. It's a relationship, so you got to maintain it and you got to do the work as well.
Yes, you got to nourish. You got to nourish it a little bit.
Yes, you got to nourish your relationships. At the end of the day, like, the people that come back to you is like your bread and butter.
Yes.
So if you break
100%.
everyone after one session and they can never afford to come back to you, or it's just too much for them to handle, then you're not doing a really good job. You gotta nourish it and make sure that they come back, and then you'll be paid for the rest of your life. So it's worth making the extra time to do that aftercare and, you know, being understanding and kind too.
There you go. And I guess, like, with that, I want to know, in your own opinion, what are the differences between a good and a bad findom?
Well, I feel that someone who is good at findom will research the kinks, research what they're getting into. They will make sure that they get to know what the sub likes, what he doesn't like.
Right.
And then they'll do aftercare afterwards. I feel like somebody who, you know, like, there's so much to learn out there. So obviously we all have made mistakes, and it's okay. I just feel like as long as you learn from your mistakes, then you'll better yourself. And then for someone who's, you know, bad in findom, all those things, like, don't do your research, you don't really know what the kinks are, no aftercare, all that stuff, I would consider not very good.
Not very good, yeah. Just a little bit, like, negligent and, like, careless in general, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this can go towards, like, in general, just as a broad stroke, with, like, general domination as well. Those types of relationships, like, there's a lot of overlap, because this is, like, a subcategory of domination. Yes. So good to note. I do, like, I know this topic is already, like, it's so big, and there's 20 million questions. I'll have to do another episode on this, but there's also a bunch of questions that came in for you as well. So I wanted to make sure. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go right into Q&A. We're just going to dive right in, both feet in, and we're going to start off with a bit of a banger here. So this is, and I already briefed you on this question earlier, but do you feel bad that you can't even pay a cup of coffee for yourself?
For me?
For you.
Well, no, it's not. It's not the fact that I can't pay it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that, why should I have to when someone else is out there who's willing to pay for it?
Yes.
Why would I use my own money when I can use someone else? I'll keep my money and I'll do something else with it, you know?
Yes.
So there is people out there who are willing to pay for your stuff. So way smarter to keep your money and get other people that are into this type of fetish to pay for it.
100%. And, like, this is coming from someone who obviously doesn't understand how the fetish works. Because it's phrased in such a negative connotation. So, but I'm sure you get questions like that all the time on Twitter and everywhere.
Surprisingly, I don't really get a lot of negative questions or hate or any of that. And the thing is, like, I've been making money with my charms ever since, you know, I was really young. So for me to make money as who I am as a woman and who I am, like, is a win in my books. Like, we're all out there, you know, just trying to make it through the day. Yes. And if I can use, you know, my personality, my body, and everything that God has already gave me, then it's great.
Then why not? Why not? Okay, so here's another question. Does she offer paid coaching?
So, like, I don't offer paid coaching just because I feel like, you know, I'm only 5 months in. Like, there's still so much I would like to learn and stuff. So if anyone has any question, you know, just hit me up. I'll chat you up for free, give you a little bit of advice, and I can then recommend you some of the other girls that I've paid for paid coaching.
Yeah. Did you want to share who you've gone to, or if not, we can take this part out?
Yes, so here, let me just go on my Twitter.
Give everyone a shout out. Give some love to the Findom community. Because there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of you guys out there.
So I did reach out first to Spoil Mia on Twitter. So that's SpoilMiaa.
Okay.
So I reached out to her first, had a chat with her, got some paid coaching.
Awesome.
And then there's that other financial dominatrix. I subscribe to her OnlyFans. Basically, she has her whole OnlyFans is like how you get into Findom.
Oh, cool.
Like where to get your subscribers. Kind of like she gives you the rundown on it. I believe it's about like $30 USD.
Okay.
And her OnlyFans is Victoria. So it's VIIICTORIIAA.
Okay.
That's the way she goes on OnlyFans. So I just basically paid for that, and that one is also really great. So those are the two I got so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, I'm always like an advocate for just trying to help as many people in our community as you can, especially if this is something you want to get into. So feel free to reach out. You might get some DMs later.
I might bully men for money, but I'm actually like a really nice person, and I would love to help anyone who has any questions. Just reach out to me. I'm a nice girl, I promise.
I definitely think so. Like, it's coming out in just the way you've been speaking with me this entire interview. So reach out to Vanessa. Don't be shy. She doesn't bite.
Yeah, exactly. Only if you ask me to and pay me for it.
All right. So we had another person that wrote in terms of like, what are some of the reasons for wanting this service and how much would it cost? So I know we briefly went over how tricky that is to kind of break that down, but if you want to answer the question, you can.
So I think a lot of people that goes that seek my service are kind of like just curious about it. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of like newbies and stuff that I guess maybe read about it or watched some videos, and they would like to dabble into it as well. But I also feel like a lot of people maybe might be like in a really powerful position in their everyday life, mm-hmm. and that they get to make very important decisions and be in control and be that person. So maybe in their sexual life they like to be dominated and have that whole other aspect of it.
Yeah, I hear that so often, and just having that power exchange, because that's not something that they're used to in their day-to-day life. Yeah.
So they want to experience that other side as well.
Yeah, that's totally possible for sure. And this came from a fellow sex worker. Which sites do you recommend to advertise or gain traction as a newbie to online dom work?
Yeah, so internet is your friend. Basically, there is subs everywhere. Like, there's people everywhere. So I feel like the more platforms you create, you have a better way of reaching more and more people. But personally, what has worked best for me is Twitter.
Yes.
And then my paid and free OnlyFans, I get a lot of subs from that. And then if you want to get started, like a good tip is once you make like a Findom post, let's say, I'll always write at the end, or if I feel like it, like I'll write like Findom or like Findom Canada, not the hashtag.
Okay.
Not the hashtag, because those can get you like shadow ban, and anyways, it's a whole other story, but just the word. So like Findom Canada, Findom, and then you can use other terms such as like pay pigs, human ATM, all these type of words, if you put at the bottom of your tweet, will help you reach a bigger audience. Because if someone is looking on Twitter, let's say, and they type the word Findom, then your tweet might show up. They might like who you are and tribute you and reach out to you.
There we go. Yeah, like those keywords, and just in general in marketing, those keywords are super, super, super important. So, be sure to use a lot of those common phrases that you would find in Findom, as you mentioned, like paypig, finsub,
human ATM, finsub, whale sub. All these words are a good way to get started if you're new and just get more visibility.
For sure. Great advice. And this one is not related to Findom, but I guess this is a question for you personally. But Is it easy to notice when an ex or a friend or family member or coworker subscribes to your OnlyFans? Has this ever happened to you?
Yeah, actually, I have a bunch of people from my high school subscribe to my OnlyFans. Hi, guys. And unless they put their name like on their profile, it'll just be like username like 1234. So you can't really know who's who, unless they change their name and they put it out there. It's had happened to me, but you know what? I'm an open book. You want to see what I'm about. You want to see what I do. If I know you in my personal life, like I don't really get bothered by it. So it has happened to me. And some of these guys, it's like, obviously, I don't want to pay you. I don't want to talk to you for free. Yeah. So why don't you just go ahead and pay me to see my stuff? Like, I'm not out here trying to talk to any guys from my high school for free, so they should go and subscribe to my OnlyFans if they want my attention.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like, do you ever feel weird about it? Because this has happened to me so many times, and I think it's just really funny. But, like, how do you feel, if you feel anything at all?
It really doesn't bother me. And some of these people that I know in my personal life, like, they actually give me a lot of money, so why not?
Yeah, totally.
Get that money. It's out there.
I've had, like, so many, like, friends and like old coworkers that have subscribed to my OnlyFans. Like recently, oh my gosh, this is a side note. This is a tangent, but I also have like a vanilla job, right? And I'm looking for extra work. And then one of my recruiters that I know from a few years ago, he messaged me and he's like, oh, I have like this opportunity. Like we should grab a coffee and we should go over the position, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's talk about it. And then at the very end of like all the business corporate talk, he's like, I have a confession to make. And I was like, okay, what is it? Yeah.
What is it?
Yes. He was like, I subscribe to your OnlyFans. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I totally, and then you get kind of like taken back a bit from it. And you're like, good. Now,
Yeah.
Your money is mine now. It's in my bank account.
Exactly. And this person just keeps tipping me. And I'm like, okay, like this is great. Like I personally don't feel weird about it. I know some people would feel weird, especially if you're not out. Like I'm out, you're out. But I just think it's hilarious.
And I think a lot of people, like, I have really great subs that, like, on my OnlyFans and stuff that, like, I personally know. And it's kind of like, I think they like this kind of, like, girl next door, like, they know you. And, they have this, I guess, connection to you. And they feel like it's, I don't know, they just like it.
Totally.
So stay subscribed.
Yeah, stay subscribed, friends. Like, I personally think it's great if my friends subscribe to my OnlyFans because it's like, okay, well, we support you. Like, I know you're not being pervy, right? It's not a big deal in my opinion. Okay, back to Findom questions. So, do you ever regret financially abusing any of your clients? And do you see it as abuse?
Well, I don't. I know, like, I do verbal abuse and humiliation, but I don't feel bad about it because in the process, they're the one who reached out to me for this service.
Yes.
And that's something that turns them on, and that's something that they're interested in. So I don't feel bad for providing a specific service that someone is looking for. No, and I will never feel bad about that.
No, you shouldn't.
There's all sort of kinks out there.
Yeah, and people forget in kink, like, consent is involved in this.
Yes, consent is important. And, whether I make, my money with Findom or from escorting or something, it's always somebody that's reaching out to me for a service I offer. So I'm just providing what people want, what people are looking for. So how can I feel bad about that?
Exactly. You can't feel bad about it because, again, as I said before, consent is involved. You're in the subspace, like you are in a session sometimes, and then you are playing a specific role, like, and then outside of that, then then you have, like, as you said, your aftercare and all that stuff too. So again, like, I feel like this person's not really quite understanding how the fetish works, but hopefully if you are listening, this can explain things a little bit better.
Yes.
And this has come from one of your fans, so not related to Findom or anything, but for you personally, do you think too many women have surgery to change their appearance? I've never seen anyone who looks better for getting fake lips, for example. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I remember this question. Okay,
Yes.
so this is actually really funny because I personally have lips injection.
Yes.
And I personally like have done Botox. And I used to have like long ass nails and like hair extensions and like my eyelashes were done all the time. So to me, it's funny because at this point, I guess this person just didn't realize I had work done.
Yes.
But no, I think everyone should do whatever they feel comfortable with. And if it's going to make you feel more confident and better about yourself, go for it. You know, I think plastic surgery is a way to better yourself in a way. So if it's something that makes you happy, do it. And at the end of the day, all the work that I do on myself is for me, is not really for others. It's because I think it's beautiful and it makes me feel better and, you know, more confident. So go for it. There's nothing wrong with doing surgery or not doing surgery. You just got to do what makes you feel happy.
Totally. And like at the end of the day, it's like really none of your business because it's not your body. So whatever these people want to do, they can do it however they want to enhance their looks or enhance the body part. Like, doesn't matter. And I feel, again, like with men, they just like don't know.
It's like, you just don't know. I get my lips done.
Yeah, you think it's natural? You know? Like,
you think those juicy lips are natural? I will say one of the natural things is my boobs. I never got my boobs done, but the lips, the hair, nothing natural here.
No, sorry to burst your bubble, but men are just so funny. I guess, I mean, that's you. We just like went through all those questions. It's time for me to let you promote yourself at all the links, all your social media, any websites you want us to go to, anything at all. Please use this opportunity to market yourself and go.
Awesome. So you can find me on allmylinks.com/Vanessa Jolie. My Twitter handle is Vanessa Jolie _. My Instagram is the Vanessa Jolie, and my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/Vanessa Uncensored. Again, all of those links are on allmylinks.com/Vanessa Jolie.
Nice and easy, and don't you worry, I'm going to be plugging in those links in the show notes below. If you haven't already clicked on it, you should probably go ahead and do so and give her a little sub or pay her tribute.
Exactly.
Right? And oh my gosh, like Vanessa, it was so much fun chatting with you today. I had so much fun learning all about this fun fetish called Findom, and I'm so glad you were able to take the opportunity to chat with me today to kind of break everything down and give us like a Findom 101 class. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm really glad I was here, and thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. And don't forget, everyone, it's Stripped by Sia on Instagram. It's also Stripped by Sia on Twitter. Or get at me on my personal Instagram. It's Sia Steph if you have any comments, complaints, or whatever. I mean, hopefully no complaints. Or good feedback or whatever. But it's new episodes every single Sunday. Don't forget to like, rate, share, review, and subscribe. And we'll catch everyone in for another new episode next Sunday. Thanks, Vanessa. You're listening to Strip by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia, artwork by Maria Bellandarama, music by Ted D, and photography by Ian Dabburn.